XRP and the entire market has been going crazy. And the best part about all of this, right, is that when we think about XRP today, everyone, and I mean everyone, even the Bitcoin maxis, can no longer ignore the strength of XRP. For years, we talked about how XRP one day is going to rise from the ashes like a phoenix. And it's going to take this market by storm. When we look at the all-time chart, okay, and you guys can ignore the price in which we're trading at right now because I'm recording this a little bit ahead of time, but we look back all the way to 2017. And for years, XRP holders or anyone buying XRP, well, we were ridiculed. We were laughed at. We were, tossed into this category of clowns that were just throwing money to the wind. Why? Well, because since 2017, 2018, XRP has yet to hit a new all-time high. Something has to be wrong with XRP, right? XRP is a terrible investment, right? After 2021, we were continued to be, laughed at. XRP was a joke. It was in a category where nobody even wanted to touch XRP. But when we actually take a step back and look at this from an intelligent investor's view, and that's what XRP holders actually are, is intelligent investors that know what they hold, that studied XRP and realized the value behind this at a time where we were laughed at. Jokes have been made. We were called, all these words. XRP was called, a banker's coin, and then, it was a trash coin, and, it's a scam, it's this, it's that. Back in 2021, when we take a step back, and it's actually 2020 into 2021, the SEC lawsuit gets announced. XRP is now handicapped for the 2021 cycle. It's delisted off of all major exchanges. Nobody wants to touch it. It has a bad taste, right? Everyone's ignoring XRP. XRP still manages to hit almost $2. A massive run off of the lows. Okay, well, it's still laughed at. Nobody cares about it because it made no new all-time high. And this was one of the craziest cycles for crypto. So XRP just sells off into the bear market and continues going sideways all the way up until the end of October of 2024, where XRP just goes absolutely crazy. And everyone is wondering why. Well, XRP is now relisted on every single major exchange. The XRP case is basically coming to a close. Institutional and enterprise grade adoption is increasing. We see stablecoins launching on the XRPL, new amendments opening up the doors to institutional and DeFi, and all of these great use cases for the XRP ledger and XRP as well. And everyone was still wondering why. Well, it's because for years everyone ignored XRP at a time where there was a very, very small percentage of retail investors that said, this thing is going to pop in a big, big way. And guess what? We got it. We got that big pop. And this is just the beginning. I said, and I did include this in a video less than almost like a week ago. And it was actually quoting Credible Crypto's post. 8 monthly candles. Think about that for a quick second. While everyone is getting impatient and bearish on XRP, it's trading at $2 plus and above the 2017-2018 all-time high monthly candle closes for 8 months in a row. When this consolidation comes to a close and the expansion to the upside continues, everyone will be completely silenced. Bitcoin dominance is still over 60% plus, and the largest wave of the cycle has yet to officially hit. The last wave of the cycle is where altcoins are actively hitting 5x, 10x, 15x plus gains with ease. No matter how prepared you think you aren't prepared enough. And this is the post from Credible Crypto, and this was the chart. We were trading at $2.22.5 We are now trading at $2.92. Who knows where we will be at the time that this post actually goes live, but we should still be around like, you know, the 280 to 290 level. Maybe we even trade a little bit higher. But overall, this seriously is just the beginning. And I do believe that XRP will be trading significantly higher from this point on. I don't think people realize how bullish this overall setup actually is. Now, it's also at a time where everyone is starting to wake up to XRP a bit. Even if we think about the 24-hour trading volume for XRP, it's up 80% in the last 24 hours, $12.25 billion. XRP has been trending all over X, and it just continues to get a spotlight shined on it because we continue to see XRP waking up in other markets, like for an example, Upbit. It holds the #1 spot in South Korea with over $500 million in 24-hour trading volume. And I gotta say, big shout to XRP Crow because he made this great post and it basically provides us with an insight on just how bullish the XRP ledger actually is right now. And it gives us everything to kind of base this off of. We have the ETFs, right? ETFs are piling in. We just witnessed an update around the ProShares XRP ETF. It officially launches on July 18th. So in roughly, 3 days from now. And there's so many additional ETFs yet to go live. The Treasury. We have so many companies launching XRP treasuries. This is extremely bullish. It's providing us with that sense of, all right, these companies are now looking at XRP as a legitimate investment. They see it as extremely stable, extremely bullish, and something that they could hold long term. On top of that, tokenization. Tokenization continues to heat up around the XRP ledger with names like Ondo, Archix, OpenEden, Guggenheim, and these are just four of the first ones to actually announce their tokenization efforts on the XRP ledger, because I do believe that there's NDAs and a lot more players to actually announce. Also, remember, tokenization of real estate is hitting the XRP ledger as well. Then we think about stablecoins. Guys, we have 6+ stablecoins. I think that there's a total of like 7 or 8 because there's a few that aren't being counted right now. But this is all happening at a time where XRP has 8 monthly candle closes above the 2017-2018 all-time highs, and XRP is trading just under $3. And also, the XRP Ledger EVM just went live, unlocking so much more demand and utility for XRP. This is why XRP right now is viewed as a major threat. And no, it's not an actual threat to Bitcoin or Ethereum. But if you are a Bitcoin or Ethereum maxi who has hated on XRP for, years and years and years, yeah, it is a threat. Blockchain Backer said, why are Bitcoiners so focused on throwing shade at XRP only? Because it re-emerged as a threat. While XRP was a non-concern to Bitcoiners for years, XRP is suddenly threatening Bitcoin for the attention economy, right on the heels of the same amount of Google search volume. And yeah, this is providing us with that insight that XRP is just as bullish as Bitcoin. And the question is, right, if we look at the past year growth and we look at Bitcoin, XRP has outperformed Bitcoin by almost 5x. We look at Ethereum. It has outperformed Ethereum in a massive way. Ethereum right now on the yearly is still down almost 8%, while XRP is up 450%. XRP has the power to flip both Ethereum and Bitcoin. People will say there's absolutely no way. And listen, I don't think XRP flips Bitcoin this cycle. Is it a possibility? It's always a possibility. But we do know that XRP has flipped both of them in the past. Okay, 2017, it flipped both Bitcoin and Ethereum. And there was a few times even prior that it did also flip. Today, everyone thinks it's impossible. But they also thought that it was impossible for XRP to be trading at almost $3. They thought that it was impossible for XRP to be having these types of moves this cycle. They also thought that it was impossible for Ripple to win the lawsuit against the SEC. They also thought that it was impossible for XRP to come back after the lawsuit back in 2020. And guess what? XRP continues to prove everyone wrong. And by the way, the CEO of SBI Holdings, Yoshitaka Kitao, said after the SEC case ends, XRP will be a very high price. Check this out. Smoke Dog recently posted this. Listen closely.
主優待もARA の関連商品、それから暗号資産、リップルの XRP、リップルの XRP は、この間向こうの CEO のステートメント見てると。
So thinks the court will reach a decision in a few weeks.
何週間かで裁判所の結論が出ると彼は考えてるみたいです。
Once the decision is made and Ripple's XRP
リップルの XRP がコインだということになると、これは大変な値段になると思います。
I think it will be a very high price.
我々外部の筆頭株主ですから。
We are the largest external shareholders, so there will be a
大変なキャピタルゲイン、売れば
a lot of capital gains if you sell it.
キャピタルゲインでリアライズされますけど、売れな
You can get capital gains, it will be realized, but even if it doesn't sell,
くても相当なものになるだろうというふうに評価上ですね。
but even if it doesn't sell, I think it will be a considerable thing. I think that as soon as the conclusion is positive, management will go ahead with the IPO. And if they do go with the IPO, which we've heard from Brad Garlinghouse saying that they're not really interested in it because they don't need the capital. But you got to think about it like this, okay? After this case is over officially, which we already got the update from Brad Garlinghouse that they dropped their cross appeal. We're just waiting for the SEC to actually update us with theirs. Once this is over, I do agree with SBI's CEO. I do think that XRP will be a very high price. And also, even over here, we have from Ripple versus SEC conclusion, seal of approval for central banks to use XRP through the XRP ledger. When the SEC case is settled, this will give the seal of approval to central banks and other financial institutions to start using XRP through the XRP ledger. Less speculative than, for example, Tesla randomly deciding to purchase a large amount of Bitcoins. Ironically, the SEC is suing Elon Musk for securities fraud. But at the end of the day, we got to understand that this case has been, a huge obstacle for a very long time. All of this is clearing up at a time where XRP and everything around XRP is growing. Everything is set. Everything is set for assets like XRP to just go absolutely parabolic this cycle. And for years and years and years, everyone just ignored XRP. They didn't care about XRP. And now almost everyone is focused on XRP. The Bitcoiners are so terrified of XRP. They're so focused on XRP. You ever wonder why? Well, we know why. XRP is becoming extremely bullish. It's too bullish to ignore now, even from the Bitcoin maxis. And guess what? The party is just starting. The invitation just got sent out. Just wait until this actually starts. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.